Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music. I was sad to see reading the paper this morning that James Mtume, percussionist, composer, producer, passed away just recently. His classic beat, Juicy Fruit, has been the foundation for at least 100 rap tunes. And I just thought I would open it up today and take a look at it. So the Juicy Fruit beat, let's listen to it. Sounds like this. This is just captured from the first bar of the original track. Now it's not a breakbeat. Traditionally, it's clearly a drum machine. In fact, it's the Linn LM1. Now the Linn Drum was a sample-based drum machine, and it was one of the first. This track is from '81. You printed individual samples on chips and plugged them in. Amazing, right? Well, it's a great sound. And of course, if you're familiar with the early Prince drum machine recordings, you've heard this drum machine. You've heard this drum machine everywhere. It became sort of the de facto kind of sound of the early 80s, at least to my ear. Well, one amazing thing about Logic is you can control click on an audio file like this and convert to a sampler track, which is what I've done. I've created a whole new track and instrument based on that as a drum machine. Well, here it is. It's a sampler. And you can see it's just got like all those samples. There's really only, I think, 15 mapped to individual keys. And it not only does that, it also gives you, I'm sure you know this, an opportunity to just play it. Well, here you can see below. I'm going to open this up a bit so it's a little bit easier to parse. But here you can see what it looks like. Now, there are a number of great things about this. The first of which is you can tune the samples. I've tuned it down a step because I want it to be thicker. The other is it's super easy to slow down or speed up by 20% without really hearing artifacts. If I wanted to, I could change the beat by just alternating things a bit, or even, where is it? Or even play the individual samples to create a whole new beat myself. Here's the original beat. Slowed down a little bit, tuned down a little bit. Well, that made me super happy, I gotta say. And so I immediately had to write a bass line to go with. And my bass line is kind of a classic 80s bass line, just a single note, kind of doubling the kick. And, well, that's what it looks like. Do you hear the echo? So on the original track, Juicy Fruit, Mtume does a terrific, smart thing. He has not really a lot of reverb, but a ton of delay. Now, in the old days, when I say the old days, I mean when I was in my 20s, it was really hard to get sort of sample accurate sync to tempo delays, and frequently the delays would push or pull a little bit. And so I've created an aux send here in Logic that uses a delay which began as dotted eighths, and then I went over here and turned off tempo sync, on and off, and then adjusted the sound a little bit. You can turn on tempo sync and then adjust deviation. That's another option for you. And I think probably that it'll get about the same effect. A little bit of deviation from the basic tempo sync will give you a nice effect. You can set it to be slower if you want a kind of a laid back vibe, or push the echoes if you want a little more agitation. Well, the third thing I wanted to do was use a kind of a chord trick. You know this, I'm sure, but in Logic, you've got this plugin here, which is called chord trigger. And it's got any number of options for you that you can just kind of drop in, triads and extended harmonies. But you can also click Learn and then just top something in. So what I've done is I just did the voicing that I used before, is a kind of an extended minor 9 chord. And so every time I play a single note, I get that effect. It's nice, right? So here's my overall sound. That's a D in the bass the whole time. And as you can see, looking at my single notes, D, that's E minor 7 over D, F minor 7 over D, E flat minor 7 over D. Very spicy sound, right? I've got an old-fashioned fluty analog lead set up with the same echo. Let's try soloing over it. Well, you know, I'm a child of the 70s. Mtume played in Miles Davis's band. He's on that terrific sort of early fusion Miles Davis album, On the Corner. And what a savvy producer. Check out the video. Geez, I hope this has been useful. It's super fun for me. I'll see you next time.